For a movement to succeed, avoid structures. Once you're into structures, even if you're to buy a radio station, you will be held back by issues of administration. Admin is going to take much of your energy, as opposed to expending that energy on pushing the ideals of the movement. Let me just mention, for example, the issue of JKI, because I was speaking about it yesterday on Spice. If this movement had concluded to define itself as the people's movement, if an issue of owning JKI came up, that you want money to improve the infrastructure at JKI, you ask yourselves, what should be the best interest of my people? Who should I give this money? Who should I give this opportunity? The easier point, just float shares here at Nairobi Stock Exchange. Because our stock market is meant to be a platform where people individually go and meet to put their capital and they buy. So we say we need 100 billion for JKI. Tell Kenyans, we are giving you first priority, buy shares at a discounted rate. As collective, you can set a price for the shares. They say even if it is 50 bob per share, the much you can buy with your 50 bob, you become a co-owner of JKI. If there's a deficit, then you can look for another. You can even say I'm reserving 70% of the shares will be sold to locals. 30% you can look for an external partner. So it ends up that the people are given the first attempt at ownership. That is how Kenyans will end up earning money without working, because JKI will never make a loss unless the money is stolen. But you'll never make a loss because on every air ticket, there's a passenger levy. Every time anybody walks to that airport, they spend money. So you'll always be guaranteed of making money as a Kenyan. On the issue of the radio stations, I want to take you, we must always, going forward, make reference to 25th of June. If you look at our media, the mainstream media, so to speak, they were not the platforms that were used to mobilize for the revolution. In fact, their news coverage is very conservative in terms of political news. You'll always find the first item is Raila or Ruto. The second time it will be the likes of Kalonzo or Speaker or a governor somewhere. The third item will be about something that has happened in one village that has no correlation. So we need to set the agenda. But post when the first, like when you look at when the first demonstration took place, it barely received, it was only the first 5 minutes of the news coverage. But when the second one took place, it now forced the media to start giving live coverage on the ground, because that is where people are and they want to get numbers. Our media is this platform where we are today. Our media is TikTok. Our media is Facebook. Those three, to the extent that they are still going to be operating in Kenya, those are our points of sharing information. Those are the points we need to put more energy on. WhatsApp and the other apps that have come up, that is where the mobilization took place, those platforms. But if you want to think that maybe you need to acquire a particular media station, you will be caught up in administration, you may never move. Just to set that media station up and running, you will spend the next 5 years to have it gain traction. But I'm not saying we discount it. There are also community media that are coming up that are looking for content. If we decided that you approach one that, because you'll find most of them are not within the rubric of mainstream media, even themselves, that becomes a platform that will be sharing content from the movement, then automatically you'll find even their listenership, their viewership, even the TV station will go up. But my urge is this platform that the people have created has far much impact than the traditional media station. They will come here to look for content. In fact, they will follow the people. Nowadays, I don't watch the 9 o'clock news. Before, it was a very compulsory ritual for me. Why? What the media will be reporting at 9 o'clock, I will have seen it on X at 10 a.m. in the morning, because X reports as it happens. The media mainstream as it is, plays catch up. As I conclude, let me remind us of the case of Senegal. What the Senegalese had done, Sonko had done in the run-up to that election, way before, in fact, 2-3 years before the elections, Sonko had defined the question of the election and he had identified the enemy of the people was Macky Sall. So, regardless of what Macky Sall was going to do to Sonko, he had been defined as the enemy. People were clear, it is us versus them. It was not about Sonko. Sonko defined and created a space that is called us. We are the Senegalese. This is what we stand for. Macky Sall, on the other side, is for status quo, is our oppressor. So such that when Macky Sall thought that the best way to control this division that Sonko had created between him and the people was to arrest Sonko and detain him, it did not matter that Faye, who was subsequently also detained and arrested, only had 3 weeks to campaign. The vote was not going to be a vote for Sonko or Faye. The vote was a vote against, it was voting to bring down Macky Sall and his system. That is where we need to be. That the divide must be so clear that this vote that is coming will be a vote against William Ruto. But then within the movement, when the political leadership will emerge, it will be who amongst us, because you may not also have unanimity as to who the candidate is, but people will be able to discern who amongst the people who are offering themselves represents our ideals. Who is offering solutions to our problem? Who is dissecting the problem? Who is giving people back power to the people? That will be the natural choice of the person who will lead the movement. I urge us to always be very careful, be very cautious before you turn yourself into a structured organization. At this stage, we are fighting like a gorilla, the guerrilla warfare. There is no revolution that starts as an armed unit that has a command structure that takes on an opponent and succeeds unless it has a foreign army or a foreign state that supports it. A guerrilla is meant to disrupt. We are disrupting the system. William Ruto just happens to be the leader of that system at this particular point, but it's a system. If you're not careful, that system can come back here and give you a leader. That leader ends up leading the nation. Then you start asking yourselves, how comes things are not changing and we dealt with William Ruto? It is because in trying to come up with a structure, and many of us in this space, we don't have the setting up political movements, political parties and running them. The people who have the experience and the expertise and the knowledge are the ones we are trying to get out of power. So it is so much easier for them to identify somebody within this side and prop them to emerge as a leader and organize politician, organize within a party, and they will use him. So you get your election done, but then you ask yourselves, how comes we are not feeling the effect of this vote? Then you go back, you start again. But if you focus on it is about the people, you focus on everybody to own the conversation about what you are advocating. It's far much more difficult for them to become a side. I've been very clear, even to the young people alone. When the time comes, we look at, do we even have the full understanding of what the problem is? More so if it does not define for us the problem. The popular posture it will be the system of the agreement. But in terms of who should lead it after it goes, Let me use the example of Morara. If you ask him once he goes, what will it be? What do we want? Have we defined it for him? Has he understood what the problem is and how will he solve it? If he doesn't and he becomes, for example, the leader, you'll be in the same space discussing the same issues. Because what will happen is that system will capture him without an ideology, commitment from the people. Even though the ones who put him there. But does not what is the problem? How will he address it? What is commitment to the people? The system will capture him. The civil service, the military, the security system will capture him and give a script on how to govern. And part of that script will be, we are always here to protect you. We have enough tear gas. We have enough guns. If they don't listen, just deploy us. We'll do it. We'll do your bidding. Then it becomes another 5 years of fighting with people who put him there. So let's be very methodical in terms of sequencing. At this point, don't rush into a political party. Don't rush into identifying a leader. Whoever is a leader should be mobilizing for the cause his own locality. Don't take the people in a political party at this particular stage. Even if you are doing a political party, it should not be the main thing that you are advocating. You end up losing the message. And to the farmer who spoke, sorry, I forgot the name. It's good that we have agitation. When somebody is agitating even on this small issue, even on the seed alone, that every day we are all seeing Kenyans speaking out and lambasting the regime. Those Kenyans are older than others. Events of the events of 25th June, they are rights and interaction by different sectors. That, in a way, if you look back, contributed to the emboldening of youth to come out for the Gen Z revolution. So that should be the order of the day. We just keep speaking up. We must go out to the streets. Our voice must be heard. It helps embolden the populace and to also brand the regime. Thank you very much, Reverend.